Hey everybody, welcome to episode 63 of the HooperCast. This is another Triple R review. I realize that doesn't make sense. Lots of things in the world don't make sense. You know, birds don't make sense. To me at least. It's kind of weird that they can just glide through the air. You'd think that they'd weigh more and fall. You know, they'd fall to the ground faster, or they'd have to flap more. But the fact they can just kind of glide there, it's just amazing to me. It doesn't really make sense, in my opinion. Anyway, forget birds. Let's focus on the podcast. Let's focus on what really matters. This is another Triple R review from me and Sam. This time it is for the Expendables 3. Same MO. We went to Redbox and got the movie, and we got a 6-pack, and then we watched it in the HooperCast studios, and here are our thoughts on the movie. Stay tuned for more reviews, and enjoy the show. A beep! See, here we are, just talking normal.
Just talking like people.
The waveforms look good. It's not overblown.
Yeah, okay.
Although if we get louder, we're going to have to kind of back away so it doesn't peak so much. That's the problem.
Yeah, okay.
Well, if we did the exact same thing, we just talked.
Would it make a difference?
I think, see, if you look at the thing, it moves kind of while you talk. So if you get louder, maybe does it reduce sensitivity a little bit?
I don't know, because when you get louder, it still does the big gap there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Seems like
see,
it's
now
picking
we're
us
quieter, and
up
see, now it's
less.
trying to get down to the thing. Okay, final mic check. Is this going to be better, or is this... See, okay, it looks so blown out.
Like a lot.
What?
But you're really close to it. Maybe the microphone's just really sensitive. Maybe if we
got to
stuck
put it back here and
stick it in the middle.
The
there.
gain's all up and everything, but what about now? See, now it's quiet. Look how quiet it looks.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did it stop itself? No, I don't want to. Why did you stop recording?
What?
Or did it stop recording?
Apple.
Hello, Sam.
Hello, Connor.
How are you?
I am exquisite. How are you?
I'm not exquisite. You're doing well.
Great.
That's good. That's good. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Expendables 3 that we just got finished watching. You have not seen the other two.
I have not. I just dove in at number 3.
What did you expect?
I expected pretty cheesy action film, which there were cheesy parts, but I would say it was less so than I expected it to be.
Yeah, let me tell you what the other two were like, because I didn't know until like halfway through the film you had not seen the other two. So when I asked you the question a second ago, I knew the answer. Well, the audience didn't.
They're so stupid.
They're dumb. So, yeah, the first one was kind of filled with a lot of like just they were uber macho. Mm-hmm. There was one female character that was just sort of helping them, and not really like a I don't know, not even like an expendable, just like a civilian helper thing. The second one was worse. The acting was worse. The story was worse. The jokes were horrible, and they were filled with like catchphrases from everyone's movies. So Bruce Willis is in there, and so he's fighting at some point, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's fighting, and he's like, "Cover me, I'll be back." And he's like, "You've been back long enough, I'll be back." And he gets up and runs, and Arnold Schwarzenegger just goes, "Yippee-ki-yay." I was like, I want to kill myself. Like,
that is terrible.
Yeah, so it's one of those. So this movie, I was surprised because I expected it to be worse than that one. This was the best of the three, in my opinion.
Okay.
Sorry,
Connor's dying. He's got the AIDS.
This movie made my brain bleed. No, this was the best of the three. I was genuinely surprised at the quality of this film. I said to you about, halfway through the first action sequence, this is shot better than the other two.
Right.
I can tell, like, this is competently shot. They actually put some, like, forethought into this. They actually blocked these scenes and worked with a stunt coordinator.
Which is, I guess, not what it looked like last time.
No, it just was... The first movie was really, like, hacky. The second one was just straight up bad. And this one was actually well put together. I was surprised that the acting was as good as it was from pretty much everybody, except for Randy Couture, who can't act to save his life.
Yeah.
You could put his family up against a wall and say, "I'll shoot them all if you don't like. Just make me believe you."
He just
and
reads
he'd be like,
lines in
"So why'd
varying
they lock you
degrees
up?
of volume.
Not good enough. Boom, boom, boom. Your family's dead." You know. It's the two worst actors in the movie are Randy Couture and Ronda Rousey.
Yeah. Just maybe a thought that UFC and Hollywood don't really cross paths.
Not really. I'm trying to think of the last UFC fighter who, or MMA fighter who could. I mean, the last one we encountered was Jason Momoa, Conan the Barbarian.
Right.
We all saw how that worked out.
Yeah, that was.
Although he was sufficient on Game of Thrones, but he speaks another language,
which really.
Yeah, and now he's Aquaman. So
I didn't know that.
Someone likes him. Yeah, he's gonna be Aquaman.
Well, I guess he's speaking another language to fish.
Yeah, he's talking to fish. They don't want him to act with other people. I mean, do you agree with the acting and everything? And
I do agree. I mean, I expected it, and don't get me wrong, there were plenty of cheesy parts that I had.
Yeah.
But and there were a few,
but they weren't like cringeworthy cheesy. Like the other two had cringeworthy moments.
Yeah.
Like, oh, why did you say that? Like moments, you know. But this one was like. This one had actual jokes that were funny.
Yeah, the jokes were good.
This one had actual characters that were good.
Yeah, breaking Wesley Snipes out of the
train,
and then they ask him what he was locked up for, and he just tells them tax evasion. That was good. I laughed. I laughed heartily.
Apparently, tax evasion is such a horrible offense in the Pan Asian wherever he was that it's worth guarding him on an armed train with a tank gun on the front of it.
Which that bothered me. That they didn't. I mean, you have a high value prisoner, and that somebody's going to try and take him back, and whoa, lo and behold, helicopter full of Expendables comes up from the front. Nobody on the front on the tank cannon, and then Wesley Snipes is just going crazy after he breaks out. Nice. So he's like, "No, I'm going to use this cannon."
And then his character disappears from the film because he doesn't do anything like stand out or unique after that. After he says that jingle jangle thing,
and that bothers me because he's like, "Oh, do you have my gear?" And he hands him all these knives, and they're talking about him being the doc and all this stuff. Uh-huh. And, like, he sort of saves Terry Crews there. Like, he pulls out a bag of needles out of nowhere and just starts shooting him up after what's his name has shot him. But
yeah.
But aside from that, like, he didn't have, like, a lot. They threw some knives, like, a couple times. They didn't really have any, like, crazy. I don't know what I expected out of a knife guy, but he shot a lot of guns for a knife guy.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I kind of expected more knife play out of him. Like, I guess I don't know really what was missing from the film, and not really anything, to be honest. It was very...
I mean, I like the story.
All around. It actually had heart, by the way. Like,
yeah.
The other two had just nothing. It was just, this life isn't for everybody, and everyone growls on their lines. Everyone growls on their lines. This life isn't for you, and we're fighting the fire lines and our fire during fire.
Live long enough to see yourself become the bad guy.
Yes, right. Live long and prosper. live free or die hard. By the way, you know how they said Church isn't a problem anymore, like Mr. Church, the Bruce Willis character? Because they fired him from the movie because he was charging too much. He was going to have to do 4 days of work, and he wanted $3 million. And Stallone was like, fuck you. And he fired him.
Wow.
So they said, yeah, Mr. So he was going to be part of the plot. That's why Harrison Ford's in the movie, because they fired the CIA connection because he was greedy. And you know what Bruce Willis said, like, when he was asked about it in interviews? He basically said, like, like some movies, like I do, like when he did like Looper, like, you know, he says I dropped my fee for those because those are like, he basically said because those are like
Good
challenging. He
movies.
says, but movies like these like are actual work, and I want like, you know, I want $1 million a day. And Stallone was like, what the fuck?
What the fuck, man?
Seriously?
I thought we were cool.
I thought we were cool. It's like, these movies are good, and I'm willing to drop my rate, but your movies suck, and I want more money. Like, all right, well, this is why we fired you, because you're a prick. You know? Anyway, well, I really liked Mel Gibson in the movie.
He's good at being the bad guy.
I love Mel Gibson. Like, everyone hates Mel Gibson now, but I've always liked him. No matter what he does, like the Oksana and the Jews and whatever, like he is. I love Mel Gibson, and I will never stop loving him. I love him. Well, but like I just
are you professing your love like Arnold? And
Mel Gibson? If you're listening to my podcast, just know that I love you. So he has like a great monologue on the plane. And I remember telling you, like, you know, this is why they had to include that he was, like, a child murderer, like, he killed kids, too.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I don't see why he's the villain of this film.
Yeah, he's, like, making a lot of sense. He's telling all these new kids, well, don't worry, he's just going to shoot you in the face and leave you for dead. And
yeah,
blah,
like,
blah, 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 blah. And like,
which is
Mel Gibson makes a very valid point here.
It was interesting that this had an actual story and actual characters and a villain who wasn't just a caricature, which is what the other two were. Like the first movie, Eric Roberts was the villain. He's like, man, command armies and just killing stuff. And then the second one was Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he was sort of like a, you know, crazy arms dealer guy too. And so was Mel Gibson, but he had a reason for doing everything he did. Like, he was burned by the people he worked for and became super cynical about it. And, like I said, if he wasn't like a child killer, you'd be like, I just see a guy who's doing what he's got to do, you know?
Yeah. Scratch to survive,
which,
you know?
Again, this isn't like Citizen Kane, but that's a well-drawn, that's a competently painted villain.
Right.
In terms of screenwriting, you know. So I was very pleased with this. Like, we rented it because I thought it was going to be so terrible. It's going to be fun to watch. Just get a six-pack and watch the Expendables, the third Expendables movie.
Expendables.
After the first two were so bad, and they're talking about making a movie with the women called the Expendables.
I didn't know that.
By the way, the women. What women?
Yeah, the one.
Ronda Rousey and who?
Ronda Rousey had, like, 20 lines tops.
By the way, that fart noise is the chair.
It's actually me.
It's my butt.
But yeah, she had like 20 lines tops in the whole movie.
Poorly delivered lines.
Yeah.
Like I said, she's not a good actress at all.
No, she's not. She looked alright doing it, but I mean, she's also like super buff MMA and could probably kick my ass. So I'm not real turned on by that.
Yeah, I don't like relinquishing control to a woman. So it.
What's the Expendables going to be about? Bad kitchen disaster?
I can't make this sandwich fast enough.
I forgot to take the giblets out of the turkey. It's turned green.
I forgot to pick up the kids at school.
So anyway.
All right, well.
Now that we've alienated all the female listeners to this podcast.
I've looked at the analytics on YouTube. We have like one female listener.
Well, she hates us.
Maybe it's Ronda Rousey.
Ooh.
We don't want your patronage.
I don't hurt me.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they're making a fourth. By the way, what was up with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jet Li at the end?
Seriously. Okay, so Jet Li is only in there. He has less lines than Ronda Rousey does.
Yeah.
And then they just, I think they turned gay for each other at the end. Like, I don't know what else that was.
There was a little joke where he's like, oh, you're working for Schwarzenegger now. And he's like, yeah, he pays me more money or something. And then they whisper some joke to each other and laugh. And Stallone's like, why don't you guys get a room? And then Schwarzenegger's like drunk. He's like, we don't need a room. And he sort of walks away. And Jet Li, they do that like kind of side hug thing, but Jet Li puts his actual head
Snuggles
down onto his chest for a second.
Nuzzles into the chest of manly Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And I was like, wait, are they gay? And then the scene like changes. Like,
Yeah,
wait a second.
immediately.
What's happening?
Because
in previous movies he wants more money because he has kids.
Jet Li does?
Yeah. And look, not that gay people don't have kids. But he implies he has a family to support. Is that all out the window now?
Has Arnold been that family the whole time?
Yeah, exactly. Like, seriously, like he's like I have a family, and so it's like, all right, well now that I'm getting paid super rich, forget my family. I've got this big Austrian man to make love to and pays me lots of money.
Maybe that's what Arnold's paying him for.
He pays me more money.
Sexual favors.
Excuse me, I'm out of... I thought I had more cash on me. Yeah.
I don't know what happened there. And the whole singing a Neil Young old man thing. Like,
I thought that was going to play over the credits. Like, I thought it was going to crescendo at the chorus.
Which would have been fine.
Yeah, but then they're like, it's like, old man, look at my life. Dun-dun-dun, 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 dun-dun-dun. So, it would have been like an actual, like, this is you would have thought to yourself, this is the ending to an Expendables movie. That's unexpected,
Yeah. Very retrospective.
Yeah.
Oh.
But this is worlds above the other two. It really is. The other two are uber masculine, like to a repulsive degree. Like, oh my god, like everyone's smoking cigars, talking about the life and and regrets, and in their lives, drinking whiskey, just smoking whiskey and tattoos. In the first movie,
there wasn't so much.
In the first movie, Mickey Rourke is giving Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone a tattoo of a raven on his back, and they're smoking cigars and talking about how he regrets not being able to save this whole like school full of kids or whatever in some other country, and how he can't sleep at night because of it, and that's why he seeks the company of these like hookers and stuff. Like, it's all this inner torment, and I'm like, oh my god, like stop.
This is not what I need out of my Expendables characters.
You seem to be doing fine.
You've made up for it by slaughtering hundreds of other people. I think you'll be okay.
You're rich. This woman doesn't look intelligent, but she's certainly attractive. And if that's what you're looking for, then it's that more whatever.
More power.
He's like, I just wish I could have saved more. Oh my god, get over it. Who cares? You can't change it. You're supposed to be You're supposed to be a man, and I'm going to say this: if it's such an uber masculine movie, you'd think that it's like this weird little like the tortured mercenary. Like you'd think that of all people, a mercenary would know like, can't change it. Like I regret it, but what am I supposed to do?
That's the life. That is the life.
That's what we signed up for. That's what you said. One-way trip. It was a one-way trip for those people.
This is a suicide
mission. That's what you sign up for in the life with the missions.
You're just gonna let your family walk away from me like that?
You can't do that like that, man.
You're gonna fill it in with these new Expendables?
It's just a bunch of 60. It was. I do enjoy like the 60-year-old plus voice though, because apparently when we're all 60, you go from kind of talking like this, like we're talking now like this.
Yeah.
And we're about 40. It's
a
little bit different register, a little bit kind of a way, but when you're 60, it's like we're gonna talk like this.
I've been smoking cigarettes for all my life.
Whiskey and brandy and women, and I don't know why women makes your voice deeper. Because of all the torment they put you through. All the torment. Because bitches...
I have so many scars. Emotional scars.
Bitches be crazy.
So crazy. I don't know where I was going with that.
Anyway, it's a good film, so if you want to watch The Expendables 3, I highly recommend renting it. It's kind of like 22 Jump Street. This is an iTunes rent.
Yes.
Again, why? We rented this at Redbox.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine.
But, if you like iTunes, go for it.
Yeah. Or at the library if you want to watch it and you're like, oh, wait, gotta do the laundry and stuff and wait another day.
Support your local library.
Yeah, just,
By checking out shit. I don't know.
Okay. Okay, well, that's our review. Goodbye.